Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Gary Community Cleanup Committee meeting, April 18th, 2019. We meet from 5:30 to 6:30 once a month, the third Thursday of every month. I'm Councilman Ron Brewer, Councilman Laura, and President of the Gary Common Council and the Chairman of the Gary Cleanup Committee. And I'd like to just go around the table and the room and have everyone just to introduce themselves at this time.
I'm Frances Bush, 3rd District Co-Chair of this committee.
My name is Clarice Carpenter. I live in the 1st District and I've been a volunteer since 2006.
Vicki Bernard, resident of the 1st District and assistant with Rebecca Wyatt's campaign.
And Rebecca Wyatt, Councilwoman for the 1st District.
Brenda, you want to go?
Yes.
Sure. Brenda Scott Henry, Director of Environmental Affairs and Green Urbanism.
LaShawn Brooks, Director of the Mayor's Office of Constituent Services.
Mike Brown, Councilman at Large, and I'm proud to serve you. Thank you.
Jackie Rosario Purtle, Interim Building Commissioner, Building Department.
Lucas Purnell, 3rd District President.
Kenya Macklin, Code Enforcement Manager.
Nick Vassal, 6th District President.
Okay. Well, thank everyone for coming out and for us to discuss our cleanup agendas for 2019. At this time, thank our guests for being here also with us too. But we will start with Ms. Brenda Scott Henry, the Director of Environmental Affairs.
Oh, okay. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here today.
Good to have you.
And you know, when you talk about the environment, that's me.
That's right.
And I have a wonderful team, especially an education and outreach coordinator or team that helps me to do what we do in our department. Today, I have quite a few items here. I just want to give you a general overview of our purpose in terms of pollution prevention. So under our ordinance, stormwater ordinance, we are required to do pollution prevention activities from everybody to the secretary to the citizen, right? Secretary in the mayor's office to the citizens, every citizen in the city of Gary, about how they can reduce pollution. And this is by ordinance, by permit. We do this work. So when you talk about hazardous waste that people have in their home and how they properly dispose of those things, that's critical for us because it helps us, when the citizens learn about this, it helps us to protect water quality. The Lake Michigan is one of our most valuable resources that we have in this area, and we promote doing everything that you possibly can to protect that through behavior changes. So on Saturday, April 27th, we're having our household hazardous waste. It's actually our environmental stewardship day. It's a combination of cleanup efforts, proper disposal, and education for families. So we've teamed up with the Department of Constituent Services to do the Blight Buster and the Household Hazardous Waste event. We have this information included on our flyers. It's spring cleaning time. People have lots of things that they accumulated over the summer and winter, and so this is an opportunity to properly dispose of hazardous products that you may have in your home. So you may ask, what kind of products? This is my commercial. So on the back of our flyer, and you guys have probably seen these posters all over the city, banners all over the city, and we have flyers placed in strategic locations all over the city. And we're working with our partners in order to promote this event. But we would like for you to look in your kitchen and your bath cabinets, your garage, your closets, your little garden storage or shop areas, and there's a whole list of items like cooking oil and grease, air freshener, aerosols, drain cleaner, floor cleaner, women, hair color, well maybe men too, hair color, hairspray, peroxide, mildew removal, nail polish, all of those little things that you have stored up in your cabinet. You're like, I'm not going to use that no more. I need to dispose of it. Asphalt, glue and adhesive, oil-based paint, we will take that. Paint thinners, flammables like oil, gasolines, kerosene, and antifreeze, batteries, especially those alkaline batteries that have those things have mercury in them. And if you look at the front of the flyer, 1 ounce of mercury can contaminate a 20-acre body of water. Just 1 ounce of mercury. So this is why it's important that you do not flush it down the toilet. You know, mercury is used in measuring when you have these things with thermostats in it. And that little, if you've ever seen it, it beads up. You can't really dispose of it. By flushing it down the toilet, it's hard to clean up because it continues to roll, and no matter how you try to. But once you're exposed to it, it's very toxic and it's harmful to families. It emits in the air, so it's really harmful to to individuals. So we ask that the curlicue light bulbs that you've seen, energy efficient light bulbs. Those have mercury in them also. So put them in a bag, keep them over time. When we have our household hazardous waste event, bring them to us, and we will properly dispose of those things for you. We're also taking sharp. So a lot of people are diabetic and they need needles to apply their medication. So we will take those. Electronics. Recycling department is partnered with us. So if you have old computers, who still has a VCR? Okay, come on.
I got more than one.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Gotta have a backup.
Exactly. If you still have an old fax machine that you're standing there punching buttons on it, please, come on, give it up. Cable boxes that they don't use anymore. Wireless devices, like I still have my PDA. I'm gonna bring it. I'm bringing it. I'm disposing of it. So we're asking people to just kind of, if you see this flyer or if you need this information, call our office at 882-3000 and we will help you to identify things that you need to bring to our household hazardous waste day. We do this every year. It's not like we can determine what date it will be. The Lake County's Solid Waste Management District usually schedule these all over Lake County, Lake and Porter County. So it's an opportunity for each community to do this. So Gary is not the only community that is hosting this household hazardous waste event that will be held from now through October. So if you miss me, please support one of the other communities that are having household hazardous waste. But it's a great opportunity for you to properly dispose of things. We're even taking tires. We're taking, if you have a milk jug that you're using to store vehicle fuels in, please bring it to us. We'll give you an environmentally friendly gas can that you can, for free. You have to bring us one and we'll give you an environmentally friendly gas can so that you can store vehicle fluids in it. We will also have recycling bins on site that day. The recycling department will. And of course, we will focus our cleanup efforts in supporting the Blight Buster in the downtown area, so we will have a crew who is also working that day. On the Paul Douglas Environmental Center is hosting Green Gary Day also. So this is an opportunity for families to come out and learn about the environment. It supports our Earth Day event. So it's a fun-filled day of environmental stewardship. No one has an excuse for not doing something there on Saturday, April 27th. Yes.
I got one question. I got some old computers, but what's on, I have, some personal information. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. Consequently, there are some things on there that I know I wouldn't want anyone to see, but I don't know what to do. I want to get rid of the computers, but should I call that number you gave?
Yeah.
And they'll tell me what to do?
So we'll connect you with the recycling department. And they take them even not on this day, but every day. They have days in which they will take them, and they have a way in which they destroy the hard drive.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you very much.
We'll have shredding too. So if you have tons and tons, we're even asking churches and small businesses, that is, small businesses. Churches, schools, folks who need to destroy. Well, the city has to have a disposal process in place, but if you have gotten approval to destroy records and then you need to shred them, we will have the shredder truck there to shred that information right before you. So you don't have to worry about your personal information hanging around, sitting in a basket somewhere. You can watch them shred those personal documents so you can safely destroy that information. I just want to share that we are taking every effort, every opportunity to educate not only municipal employees with this flyer that we have here, but also to, we offer some of these sessions to residents so that they can learn about environmental education. So we've already completed the OSHA certification. We had 10 employees who now have their OSHA 10 certification. We have a staff person with those credentials. We've already had our pollution prevention session. We primarily focus on general services. So as they're out there doing cleanup, we want to make sure that they are protecting themselves as they're doing cleanup. And this applies for residents too. And then in May, we're having an asbestos and lead awareness training session. And then in November 13th, we're having pollution prevention and mercury awareness training for employees. And then on this particular flyer, there's just a whole list of opportunities for residents to be engaged in environmental education. We're doing a native landscaping workshop. We're doing maintaining green space workshops, butterfly garden workshop, landscape design techniques. So if you guys are a little rusty on your landscaping or want to learn how to do a little bit of landscaping, come join us. That will happen in June. And of course, the Clean Water Celebration is scheduled for June 22nd through 22nd. And this aligns with our Coastal Awareness Month, where we show appreciation. Communities that are along Lake Michigan coastal area are having educational events. So there's also information about how to properly dispose of tires. And this particular document includes the ordinances from the state and local ordinances that govern this best practice. You may find that there are a lot of businesses that establish themselves and they do not have these small containers to store tires and whatnot. These are the laws that govern that, and they should make sure that they have a waste bin there to properly dispose of tires. This will help us to reduce the amount of illegal dump tires that we have around the city. And there's a little lawn smart tip for residents that we work with the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiatives. Just some general information about proper lawn care for folks. This is in partnership with True Green. They are a partner of the city who helps us technically on some issues, especially with vegetation management. And we're just, they created this little information sheet for residents. So we'll be massively distributing this information around and about. So that's all I have to share.
You happen to have an extra copy of that save the date.
Yes, I have plenty of those.
Thank you.
And do you have one for April 27th? You have an extra one?
That's
Thank
the
you.
last one I have. You may have some more around here somewhere. On the information desk downstairs.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
downstairs.
Thank you. You brought us quite a bit of information
Really?
on tonight. Came here.
We
really
try to make
prepared.
sure that we have lots of resources for
Yes.
citizens. There should be no excuse for lack of information. Call us.
Only thing is, I missed a couple of these dates, and one, I know it's a problem inside the city, is the tree care. We have a lot of trees that dying and, maybe it's no date here, say to be announced, so I don't know if you had this because,
We did. We partnered with NERC. Actually, it was just last week. It was we partnered with NERC and Urban Forestry, U.S. Forestry Services, I want to say, to do that particular workshop. But we will bring it. I think they're having it again in June 10th.
my birthday, remember that.
June
That's
10th.
my birthday,
Oh.
June 10th.
That's why I like you so much. All right.
So we'll bring this one back, but we really want, it's designed for municipalities, but it's beneficial to residents.
Okay.
And where is that house?
That will be at at the, in Portage at NERC facility. It's at the Purdue, it's NERC Purdue Center, and it's,
And the prescribed burn awareness workshop, I think it's good. I know it takes place a lot in the Miller with the dunes and things of that nature.
yeah.
But that's something I've been talking to the fire chief about. There's other locations throughout the city that I think we can really benefit. We're trying to get rid of a lot of the things that we see in the blighted areas there
Well,
with the prescribed burn.
When we do prescribe burns, it's for conservation or preservation areas, and that's why you see a lot of Shirley Hine Land Trust or National Park Services, Indiana Dune National Lakeshore. Those are the folks, Indiana Department of Natural Resources. They have a whole team that is skilled to do prescribed burns. Now, open burning is not permitted in the city, but if we have
Without a
like,
permit, a license permit.
without a permit.
Right, yes. Okay.
So it's just not,
Yeah.
no bonfires, no, just decide I'm gonna burn my yard waste in the back of my house,
Right.
that's not permitted. The city of Gary is a non-attainment area, meaning that we have poor air quality. And when we burn, open burn like that, we're emitting emissions into the air, causing it a greater impact in terms of burning. Now, there are some areas that doesn't have the industrialized area and lots of, most of the pollution is coming from roadways. So you have toll road, 1220, 65, 94, heavy truck traffic in and out all day. So those vehicles are emitting, which is why they have to have emission tests, right? So it impacts air quality.
Okay.
But we could bring this one back so that the public can, I would love to video it so that residents can know what's going on when prescribed burns are occurring in the city.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just a quick question. How does one report, or where does one report when they see or smell open burning?
We would love for you to put it in the 311 because you can capture a picture right then and there.
Okay.
By the time we get there, it could have dissipated, right, into the air, or they put it out. But if you see it, take a picture, put it in 311, and we will respond. We sometimes get the city employees who are housed here, they'll see something going on, and they're like, Brenda, they'll send me a picture, and then we can call the right people when we see emissions happening and some weird color smoke that's happening, and report it to us. But the more complaints we get, the better we can address those issues with regulators.
And I know I asked a question about controlled burns and things of that nature, but I know a lot of it's become more popular now with people having fire pits and having fire pits in the backyards and things of that nature. So how do you, I know we have something on the books, but now we're saying that it shouldn't be, but when that's becoming more the culture, people that enjoy the backyards, and because we have issues with bugs and things of that nature there, people use these things just to enjoy the outdoors in the evening.
So I think we have to figure out a way that it's really no open burning.
Okay.
Just because we are a non-attainment area, we have poor air quality. You have
Okay.
everybody burning, that's impactful. If you, compute that impact that every individual household is doing, it's
Emissions.
impacting our air quality. So, yeah. Sorry.
No way you can't purchase a fire.
I just know I'm bringing it along. My department,
I'm not sure.
that's why I'm not a favorite sometimes. I just bring you what the book says.
That's what they call a buzzkill. Yeah.
The
No
mayor
fire.
always says,
No
they,
fire.
especially on the beach, they're like, they wanna do a balloon release. I'm
Oh,
like,
no, you can't step there.
no.
Yeah.
Don't
just-
let Brenda know.
And can you just talk about that, because I heard you're definitely not a favorite though, but just
I'm
talk about
not.
it, because those are becoming more and more popular too.
And
balloon
it really impacts the wildlife habitat, actually, and pollution to your water.
Yeah.
So when birds see these foreign objects out there, they're curious because it's something foreign in their habitat. It's not natural to them. And they are inquisitive. And so they go over and it could hit them. It kills the bird, knock them out, right? The pressure, the helium from the pressure of the air. And then it bursts. Then it falls on the ground. Fish are consuming these things then. And so it just has a triggering effect. Just don't do it. Straws too is the next thing. Straws, cigarette butts,
The ribbons from those
Tangle.
are tangling feet, fins, you name it.
Yeah.
They show up on the beach just coagulated together.
right? So it's harmful
Scary
to you.
stuff.
Well, it's good to hear those things, the explanation why you shouldn't do these type of things. We normally tell people we shouldn't do it, but we don't really have the explanation why we shouldn't, but I'm glad you brought that to our attention this evening. Okay. I want to go to the building department right quick. Can you come up and just give us an overview of what's going on at the building department? You know, we always have a lot of questions about our gas stations inside, the food market inside the city. Just where we at as far as building controls.
So I can start, and we'll start with saying hello to everyone. The new construction season has fastly approached us, so we have people who want to remodel their homes and do construction. So we do ask that the homeowners do and apply for homeowners permits. They could come to the building department and do that, or if they plan on hiring a contractor, we do have a list of our licensed contractors, and they must be licensed with the city of Gary. They could obtain all that information in the building department. President Brewer, you talked about the gas stations. Task force has been going out these past couple of weeks, going to the gas stations to educate them on becoming more compliant in our city, and it is working. We do have several gas stations that have hired contractors and they have came in to get permits to correct those violations. So it's happening slowly, but it is happening, and they are becoming compliant.
So what penalties are we putting in place when they're not being compliant? Because, and I use this about the bathroom because I don't want to hear another excuse that the bathroom's out of order. I want to see that they've been cited, because this is a game that I'm noticing, and citizens is noting that it's continuing to be played.
Right.
So what are we doing to put some teeth into some of these things here?
So as far as now, what we did when we went out, we gave them their violations, give them 30 days to become compliant. Within them 30 days, if they don't, we issue them a citation and we take them to court.
What would be the number that you have seen that you have had to issue citations just in the past
Penalty
year?
fees per day.
15 gas stations received.
Within the past year?
Oh, within the past year?
Yes,
Yes, 15.
about 15.
We can't hear that.
She said 15 within the past year has been cited, and have those problems been corrected?
They're still working on them now, but they are in court. We have 15 in court right now.
So my next question is, the building department is in control of giving building business license. When a person has violated and has not made those corrections, a new year comes in, do we hold off on granting them a building permit? Or do we just allow them to open and just say it's a court matter now?
building permit or their general business
Their
license.
general business license.
So
yes.
we will hold off because we have several departments that work together. For example, when we go out and they come in and apply for a general business license, we have to go out and do inspections. The building department, code enforcement, fire department. So let's just say fire department finds violations. We're not gonna grant them the general business license if they find violations. We'll wait until those violations are corrected. Everybody comes to the table and everything is corrected until they could get their general business license.
But we continue to allow them to function operating with those violations still being in existence?
No.
What's that?
I think in the past history, we have something about unsafe building, and it's a process through the courts, the way I understood it, to actually close down the business. So it have to be so many points in order to shut them down. So through health department, code enforcement, fire department, and all of those. So it's rated on a scale, and then that's how they.
Okay, because I know we all, councilmen, large district councilwomen have issues with the gas stations in our district throughout the city. And we like to just be abreast of what the process and where we stand with some of these stations here. And especially one that we see them being repeat, if you can kind of let us know, because through any committee meeting that we have, community meeting, those issues come up on a regular about the gas stations. A lot of people avoid the gas stations in the city, going outside the city, because of the smallest things there, whether it's people that just loiter around the gas station, or I need to use the restroom, I couldn't use the restroom, things of that nature there.
Which is filthy.
Yeah, health department, right.
What about, is there any legislation that we could pass that would enhance your ability to, close the stations or, because it really is a problem here. We like to be able to, spend our money locally, but when it's so dirty and it becomes difficult.
I believe so. If some of those ordinances and the fees were changed as far as fines being raised up, you would see a difference. Because we went to one gas station and he knew about the fines and I'll pay the fines.
Like the cost of doing business if you
Right.
don't have them.
Well, maybe that's something that we need to sit down and look at. It sounds like that's an issue in our backyard anyway, that we might need to look at changing some of the ordinances too, and making the penalties a little stiffer. My thing is, if you're not gonna cooperate, we need to shut the business down. It makes no sense for us to go either direction outside our city, and some of these same owners are in compliance in other cities. But once they operate in the area, they kind of do what they want to do, and it's almost like we almost allow them to do what they want to do. And they looking at our fees, and if the fees is too low, but they just saying I'll pay the fee and I won't correct the problem. That's a problem in itself.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I would like to add to that, because I know like the truck stops, they generally have nice, clean bathrooms, because I frequent the one on Grand Street. I just went today to get some gas. The Speedway, the Amico, as well as the Loves, those are in relatively good shape. The problem, in my opinion, is that when they open them up, the new ones that come up, if they're not in compliance with the restrooms and things like that, we shouldn't even allow them to open up. That's the first thing. And secondly, I understand you mentioned a point system, but I think that from a legislative standpoint, even if someone's willing to pay for a violation, after so many violations, they should be shut down, period. I think it's a disrespect to our community for them to do that, because I travel throughout the county on a regular basis, and it just does not exist in other communities. And it only exists here because we allow it. And I know people look for convenience of going to a local service station, but I also look to be respected. And I think that's far more important than convenience. Thank you.
And so, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I could just mention the fact that if their business license comes up for renewal and they have outstanding penalties against them, or they've had a litany of penalties against them, refuse to renew their license. Just tell them, game over.
Yes, I agree. But I'm gonna need you to be on after this election too.
If
But I agree with you. You threw it out there earlier.
So I would like to add to that. And so I
I
know
agree with you, though.
some of the residents are saying, well, how could the council want new businesses or have businesses in Gary and shut the ones that exist? We want the ones open that are in compliance. We want the ones that respect our dollars.
It's a health
Those
issue.
that don't, we don't want them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. All money's not good money. So I have to agree with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And if I could add to that, I think this year, something that we added with the task force coming back, the educational piece of it. I've gone out there with the task force, and when we provide them the information about the ordinances, some of these businesses, they're not educated on it, and they find out, and then I go back, I look, I see that they have cleaned up around their businesses and things, so I feel good about that, because that's something, you know, with the blight one, once they're told, they see the documents and everything. So I think this educational component that we've added to it, we should begin to see some improvement, and then they see next year when they come for a business when licensing is revoked, they'll understand. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Nick?
When businesses first get their license, shouldn't that be a written document with an understanding of what they're gonna comply with over the course of the years of being here? And sometimes I think Gary is reluctant to enforce the laws too, because we want to retain businesses here. We don't want to lose anybody, any businesses, because we don't have enough businesses around in Gary to continue. That's our problem too. We turn our back sometimes the other way.
Excuse me, Mr. President. As I said earlier, all money's not good money, and we shouldn't have a business that doesn't respect the people that they serve. So it's great to have business, but if it's not good business, we don't need it. It's not that serious. I mean, you want the right atmosphere when people come to visit, when they want to purchase gas, or someone from the community wants to do that. They should be able to go into a non-hostile environment. They should be able to go to a clean facility. And if that doesn't exist, it doesn't belong there. Okay?
But also enforcing having adequate bathrooms.
Right, that's what we're talking about, yeah.
And cameras.
Right, I agree with you, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if the word gets out that we're very serious about that, people will comply.
Yeah.
It's called follow the leader.
Yeah.
You make the law,
We
make the law,
Gas stations are very high, and other ones are not. When you go to Valpo, the gas is not lower than here. Why is it the Gary residents have to pay higher gas prices? You know, and I'm with you guys out the way about these gas stations, because look what happened yesterday at the gas station. You sat out there and you watched what I was talking about. We have an overflow of people standing begging. And so next week you don't want to go somewhere where there's a bunch of hoodlums standing. You know, who wants to go in there to fight to pay for your gas, come back out and get attacked? I mean, it's time to either off the pot. You know, that's how I feel about it. No matter how much preaching I do, it ain't even change. You know, if you want change in the city, the people got to change it. No matter how many hours you and LaShawn and Mr. Mike Brown puts in, it don't matter. Because if somebody goes to White Castle store and they get the food, they eat it, they throw it out the window. So, oh well, the maid will get it. And then you get on the radio and start talking about all of the garbage. Well, who put garbage down there? You know, was it the people flying over and they just dropped it out the airplanes? I mean, the mentality has got to change if we want change. It's called pride. Just like you, Ms. Carpenter, when you was talking about us last year. We can have pride in our city.
Yep.
You know, the people have gotten so lax, they don't care anymore. You talk about election, they laugh at me when I talk. You know, oh yeah, Maria, sure, because you're going to fight for me. You're right, I am. Because I see who does what. I see how you get on a lawnmower every summer with me, and we clean our hearts off. And then here comes some roadie throwing something out the window. You know, you get sort of tired of it. And then when you speak out on it, oh, I wish that old lady goes sit down somewhere, shut up. Oh no, well, it ain't going nowhere like home. You know, I'm that one. I wanna know why garbage ain't getting picked up in our city. I wanna know why couch ain't got picked up yet. And the garbage man's coming down the street. We're allowed one piece of furniture. Why ain't that couch been picked up in 90 days? Why? That's what I wanna know. When I ask questions, I can't get no answers. When I talk to you guys, you say, well, take care of them, deal. The stuff is still there. So who's really responsible for what's really going on?
Give me a lot there, Medea, a lot. First thing you
Am I
talked
wrong?
about. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Let me try and answer as much as I can. The first thing you talked about was gas prices going up in one area and one community and lower in another or higher in another. That's weights and measure. When you see those things going on, you need to call and report those things to the county. They send a crew out there and they check the pumps and things of that nature to make sure that they're not gouging you. But I believe that becomes a state issue also too. We don't control gas prices locally. If you remember, pretty much like a year and a half ago, we had a gas station on 4th right here in Rhode Island. The gas price was crazy, almost $2 more than what the average
Shut it down.
gas station was, and we was able to get them closed up. They came with many excuses. They just came in business, and their prices for getting gas was higher, and they just wanted to be a gas station. If someone needed gas, make it to another gas station, they want to be here. A bunch of mess, but they're no longer here. But when we see those things, we have to continue to pound on them. And some things take a little longer to get done than others, and that was one of them. But we did eventually get that one closed there. Speaking of trash inside the neighborhood and community, yes, it's a mindset of the people, and we have to continue to work because we can't just talk about it and the trash is still there. We have to continue to clean. I mean, it's just like our houses. Normally it's just us in our houses, but the house get dusty and things of that nature. You have to continue to dust, continue to clean if you want a clean house there. But with the couches and one item that's out on the streets there, that is a problem because the contract does read that one item is supposed to be put out per garbage day and shall be picked up. Now, if that's not happening, we need to make sure that happens there. And I know this is not the first time you brought this to my attention, so you're still bringing it, so that's a serious problem there. I saw a couple of couches today out on my way back into the city, and I've seen them out at least over 2 weeks now. So that is a discussion that I'll have with Republic, is our carrier for our trash. And at the next council meeting, I will give a full update on that also.
I have a question on that. It was asked of me. Is there a limit to, I know we're talking one item per week, but is there a limit to what that item can be? For instance, can a washing machine be put out?
We got a private service to take care of that for us.
Okay, so
Everybody knows that.
that should be, that should be put out.
Yes.
All, that can be
That
put
can
out
be put
also.
out, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Only thing we ask, if you sit a refrigerator out, open the
Take the
doors
door,
up.
yeah.
If you can't take the doors
Yeah,
off,
you can
open the
take them off.
doors, open them up and tape them around. So that way no kids or anything can get inside of an item like that. But there's a group that works for free for us that will take washers, dryers, refrigerators, stove. They'll take care of that for us if you sit that out. But like big TVs, if you can't make it down to the recycling, call down at 881-1311 and we will send someone out to pick it up. We don't want people trying to take these items in the middle of the day, middle of the night, trying to throw these things into fields and lock. Just sit it outside. I'm just at that point. You know, if you can't get it where it needs to be, and if you have a person cleaning out your home and personal space or whatever, find out where they're taking this stuff. Just don't let people take this, because 9 times out of 10 they're taking stuff that has your information on there. And we are going through the garbage and everything, and we're finding out whose information that is. We just had an incident just this past week, and you're going to be responsible for it, absolutely.
If they didn't dispose of it, they are required to get a ticket, a manifest. That's what we call them. So if you hire someone to haul something away from you, for you, make sure you get the ticket to show where they dispose of that waste. And
Absolutely.
if they're not, and they have your personal information in there, you're gonna be held accountable for that waste.
So we had just this week here, we had a gentleman that was supposed to be disposing some medical waste. And he dropped it down at 900 Madison there. Personal information was in there, we was able to trace it back, and we was able to get that person who dropped it off and deal with the owner who had paid this person to get rid of these things, but we was able to take care of that right away. So just letting people know, we are going through the trash if we have to, and we're looking for anything that's gonna relate back to whoever this come from. Me and the mayor did one last year over at Kenny King School there, where we went through trash there, and one of the guys I knew, he used to cut my hair, you know, that's what they used to. But we found out that it was his grandmother's house and someone was paid to do the cleanup. But they had put all the stuff on the truck and they dumped it behind Kenny King School. So we was able to trace it back and write the right citation to the individual that was supposed to dispose of this stuff the right way, but they took it to one of our schools and dumped it behind there. So we are looking to enforce these different things. Nick?
One question on, if you have your trash can when garbage day to be picked up in the alleyway, and you're wanting to put a couch, do you put it with a trash can or do you put it by the curb of the street?
With the trash can.
With the trash.
With the trash can, yes, yes.
And if I could just add to that, this might answer some of the concerns, because when I get the complaints about a bulk item and it hasn't been picked up, we have to be mindful too that residents are responsible before paying for their garbage fees. And a lot of times when I researched it, this is someone that is past due on a bill. So their garbage hasn't been collected either. So let's remember that with some of the bulk items that's not being picked up.
May I ask a question on a more organic level? What seems to be the issue with not picking up these brown leaf bags and branches now that we're trimming and being active in our yards? Would they sit there for months at times, get rained on?
They're supposed to come by the second and fourth weeks on the east side of the city and the first and third. It's a recycling department for the brown bags, but I don't know what's going on with the limbs and tree branches.
It's the same thing, same schedule.
They'll take them as long as they're at the curb then?
Yes.
Okay.
So are you all having problems out?
They're just not being picked up, period. And they're sitting out there for, it could be months.
They need to do a 311.
Okay.
Because I haven't
If we
seen
can
that.
get the addresses for the 311, we'll make sure we address that.
Take a picture, put in
And do you
311.
want us to bring the branches down to the end of the street?
No, you don't have
Or
to do
just
that.
in front of our
Just in
home?
front, yes.
Okay. That's fine.
But we need to know when you're doing a special cleanups inside your area there. If
Yeah.
the community has gotten together and say, hey, we're gonna tackle the vacant lot there, we're gonna tackle the vacant house that's right here, and there's a special cleanup where there's gonna be a tremendous amount of things that normally that one guy couldn't pick up off of the garbage truck there, where we need to send a special crew out there to clean up the debris after you
Oh,
all
I
get
see,
cleaned.
yeah.
We do need to know about that.
Yes.
So that's a special cleanup, and I think it's a form that you need to do. The notify us of the cleanup.
No, but most recently, it's just
Just the
been
brown
real
bags.
yard cleanup with,
Gotcha.
could be as many as 10 bags in the spring, but they're just sitting there by the mailbox for a very long period of time. So,
Well, I know there is a lot of yard cleanup going on because trees really the leaves really didn't fall till late and the weather had changed up, and I know a lot of people still had leaves down from last year. So I see a lot of people doing yard cleanup, so that'll probably be my only excuse why it's not happening, but I'm not gonna say that is the reason. That is so many people doing yard cleanup, there's a tremendous amount of leaf bags that they're gathering now. Because I know after the 7th, I got my work cut out for me. Let's go to code enforcement real quick. We always have a lot of questions for you, and we want to know what's going on with code enforcement. Yes. So if you can give us an overview at this time about code enforcement.
Jack it up quickly.
Hello. Code enforcement, actually, we're part of the task force as well. So we are tackling the gas stations along with the other departments. We're out, soon as the weather breaks, we'll be out of the vehicles and walking the different districts. I have 4 inspectors now. And we're looking to hire one more, so we're waiting on her paperwork to come in as well. Do you have any questions for us?
So I'll start first. One thing I'm asking for is a monthly report. I like to know everyone that has been cited in that report so I can share that. If you don't break it up in district, I can get it once I get the report, so that way I can give district council people and at larges what's going on, what has happened. We have these meetings and people say there's nothing happening inside the city. I called about this has been falling, or this stuff been laying here. We need to let the residents know something is going on. Or if you can even put on the report what has happened with these sites, if they had went to court and if they was charged and then the fine was paid, we need to know a little bit more what's going on, because sometimes it puts us in a blind of what's happening inside the city. Councilwoman, why you look like you was ready to say something?
We do get a printout, but maybe that's the 311 issues, you don't
Right.
get that?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
we get that, but nothing,
From code
directly
enforcement.
from code.
Yes, I would like to see something from code enforcement come before. And that's not just a request I have requested you. This request has went out to the police chief at the same time. Break-ins that's happening inside the neighborhoods. People want to know what's happening once we make these reports out, what's the status. So I want to be able to get the status report back to the citizens, whether I give it to the district committee person, council person, and they take it and dispatch these in their committee meetings there, because we want to get more information back out to the public. Yeah, so that's my request.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. I know about a week ago, last Monday, weren't we in the 3rd District for a meeting with
Yes.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
this issue came up about the code
Yes.
enforcement. Judge Monroe was there as well.
Oh, that's right.
Remember? So I think that's something we might just want to give her an update on, because that was a huge concern with the residents about the code enforcement issue. And I guess I understand, with the weather being the way it is, because it's been very inconsistent, like it is now. But I think people are just concerned that too many cars are being parked on the grass. Too many people are not cutting their grass. And they had the issue about, how are they being fined and dealt with in the courts. I think the judge answered some of the questions as best she could based on the information that was in front of her. But I know your organization was very instrumental in sort of getting that information out to us. Am I right? From the 3rd District?
Right,
Yeah.
at the 3rd District meeting.
Yes.
We did talk a lot about
Yeah.
different things that would come through code enforcement.
Right.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there any other question for code enforcement? Anybody? Ms. Burnett?
Lately I've been driving around, I've been going through alleys. Does anybody go check out the alleys? We have a massive problem in the alley. It looks pretty bad in the front, but go through the alley. People have started to dump everything in the alleys, I was wondering, do they enforce that particular issue?
Yes, we go through the alleys along with the alley team from GSD as well.
Oh, okay, because it's pretty bad, The other day I went to, another community, they are totally neglected, Black Oak. There's a horrible situation going on out there. They don't do the alleys, they put it all out in front of the house. But, for some obvious reason, we have neglected it for the past 50 years, but they're still neglecting it, There's quite a few people been asking about, their neighbors. They say they have properties next door. Can they do something about their neighbors, So it'd be best to call, code enforcement 311 for that?
Yes. Yes, we actually call the 881-1311.
And also in response to the alleys, the last meeting that we had General Services here, and they shared the Love My City, Love Your Block plan. And those that live, we just did a major cleanup. Brenda helped me from Harrison, I want to say, to Grant. And something was, but we were out, and again, being out with the task force, I shared this with our blood elimination team today. 3 weeks ago, or 2 to 3 weeks ago, we went to a site going through an alley you couldn't even pass. And that was on Van Buren. Second and Van Buren, and anyone familiar with that? And it's not a lot of residents still living in that area, so of course it's ideal, a lot of construction, everything. So on Monday, went through there and you can see clear through. So General Services is, along with all the team, the alley team, GSD, a lot of city departments coming together, and that's part of the Love My City, Love My Block campaign. And the thing is for them to at least, each district would have a major cleanup like that at least twice in the year. And that's outside of even with the 5x5x5s that we have just as well. And then in response to the 311. So they pull all those 311s that's in that area that haven't been addressed and going out. And it's not just the front, as he stated, but making sure the back of the areas are clear as well. So,
Well, I just want to say that as we're doing a cleanup, there are neighbors that are coming out asking questions, but we really love for every resident to be engaged in the process, because we put our efforts out there to clean it up, and be in a week or two, sometimes it's right back the way it was.
Yes.
And that's just like throwing good money after a bad situation. And it sometimes discourages workers when they're out there working so hard and no one is helping to maintain the space, sustain those spaces long term. So we are really encouraging residents to participate in the effort, even if it's just reporting. You don't have to get out there and maybe do something, but at least report when you see someone dumping illegally, or do something about it immediately. Organize a block club, organize a neighborhood watch group, so that we can work together to address the blight in our city. We cannot do it, as a city, we cannot do it alone without the residents' support.
I do have a question. On 16th, 17th, and Taft, there are branches that have been laying out there for a long, long time. I think that's 16.
On 16th block, okay.
Right.
Got a store there?
No, that's 15.
Okay,
The next block up.
okay.
the library?
No, the south.
okay.
South.
On Taft.
Yeah.
On Taft.
Okay.
There are branches that have been piled up there for a long, long time. Are those going to be picked up? Because we don't have the 5x5 until, I believe, July, somewhere in there. So do we need to wait until that time to get that cleaned up?
No. If it's in the 311, that's again what I was stating, how the
It's been
zone
in
goes. So,
311 for a long
okay,
time.
so I'll look that up and I'll share it with General Services.
So, I know what you're talking about. So that's a gentleman that's working on a house, on that corner house
That's what I
there.
thought.
And he has cleaned up that lot there. I did have a conversation with him this week, and he's assured me that he's gonna start working to get those things cleared up.
Okay.
He cut down all the old branches and things that was in the vacant lot next to him, so that way you can see the house where he's working on.
Okay.
He's doing a major renovation of that house there. He has a dumpster out front, where he's getting everything cleared out, so, and then I think it was a garage or something caved
That
in the back.
caved in,
Yeah, so
yes.
he's working in the house,
Cleaning
so
that.
he's gonna take care of that. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
You may have got excited, huh?
Well, he has
If
some dumpster
it
out
was in the
there, so,
311 and,
Yeah,
yeah,
he'll have a
probably got a
dumpster,
citation.
so that's a good thing. So, Ms. Brooks, we
Yes.
gonna move right along with you.
What a way to wrap this up.
Yes.
And I've shared a few things, but right now, what's on our radar, as you heard from Brenda Scott Henry, our Blight Buster Day and getting involved. And what better way to get engaged in community cleanup? And many may ask, okay, why not in front of my house? We do have some people, however you see fit, of hosting a cleanup on April 27th in conjunction with Household Hazardous Waste. We will be not only where you can come and drop off materials, but we will be focused on 4th Avenue and Fifth Avenue and Massachusetts Street, going down to be sure that we rid blight. But we have constantly challenged the residents to where we want 1,000 volunteers to come out, 1,000 hands to assist us in our efforts of clearing blight from our main thoroughfares. So no matter which way someone comes to your home, your residence, or your business, they have to come through a main drive. And we just encourage that, our way of kicking off the season of blight elimination, and then we move into all of our other projects that we have for blight elimination. So we ask that you join us at the Hudson Campbell Fitness Center. If the weather is well, which we expect to have, we will be outside in conjunction of Household Hazardous Waste. We just want to show this partnership and moving forward. This is how we will kick off our season, in partnership with the Household Hazardous Waste Day. And we're going to have a good rally to get everybody energized at 7:30 in the morning with some We're gonna hype it up. And then from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Along with city departments and staff and the community and several organizations, we will be cleaning up. I'm happy to add this year that we have got Gary Housing Authority involved, where the senior high-rises, they are coming out in front of their properties, and they're going to join us back just cleaning up around their areas. So that's a good plus. So people are buying into this, and we want more. Our businesses coming out and cleaning up around their businesses. So it may not be so many that you see on our street. Well, I'm gonna be on Massachusetts Street cleaning, and but throughout our city. We are excited to know that we have several organizations that will be joining us. So it'll be busy downtown during that time, because we have some games going on. Some young folks be playing baseball at the Railcat Stadium, and and we have a Black Expo at the Genesis Center will be going on. So hey, come on down. Yeah, a lot going on. Yes. So,
lots of things happening.
Yes, that is what we're doing. We do have our first community meeting will take place in the 6th District for our 5x5x5, which will kick off in the 6th District this season. So that is on Monday. So those that live in the 6th District, come out and talk to department heads in regards to some of the concerns that you have. At the Blind Center, which is located at 4955 Broadway, and we'll be there from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. April 22nd.
That's this Monday, right?
Yes, this Monday.
Is there any question for Ms. Brooks?
Should we really, again, consider trying to reach the schools and houses of worship, have the younger people come out? Because the next generation is going to take over the city of Gary.
And we have, he's asked about the schools being involved. I know right off the top of my head, we have Steel City School that's engaged, Thea Bowman in 21st Century. I know right off the top of my head that's involved. We have some churches that are being involved just as well that are coming out. And we do want to encourage that more, but because it is on a Saturday, and the chaperones and having someone to be responsible for the youth, that has been a great concern for the school system. So, yeah. But we do share that as an opportunity for them to gain community service hours, which all schools need that. So the Girl Scouts has been with us from day one of this project, and once again they'll be out. We have a lot of sororities and fraternities that support this effort as well. So it's not too late. You can contact us, and my office is 881-4815, only for being a volunteer. 881-4815. You can call Constituent Services Office so you can join us. My quick commercial for like Buster Day. We need your hands. Join us. 881-4815.
Does one need to pre-register, or can
We
people
do.
just show up on the
Right.
day?
We do ask if you could pre-register because sometimes we have some goodies and we would like to have a pre-count of that. But if not, we've had people to pull over in their cars and just come out and join us. Bring your rakes. We will supply garbage bags and gloves for everyone, but bring any tools that you deem necessary for you to help us in these efforts.
Well, I'll take this segue to say this is a time for every candidate that talks about how the city looks to get involved, put your time, your talent, where your mouth is at, and let's clean up our city there. This is, we open this up, we have this meeting once a month to talk about cleanup efforts, and I'm happy to see that there's more to come to the table. But if you have concerns, you have issues, or you have some type of solution to some of the problem, we invite you to join this meeting once a month on the third Thursday of every month here. Our next meeting will be May 16th, right here in the Clear Western Lounge at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. And also the candidates, we requesting that all candidates after the election is over that you start removing your signs.
Yes.
Please be courteous to our park department and general service, which have the great responsibility of making sure that all our easements are cut and maintained. So we ask not you just remove just the sign part, but make sure that you're pulling up the wire also, because that's one of the most important parts, to make sure it's not damaging equipment. But I'd like to thank all of our guests that showed up today. We really appreciate it, and all our elected officials, Councilwoman Wyatt and Councilman Larry Mike Brown for being here also. I've encouraged our council people to come out and show up also at the same time, or send a representative, and I appreciate you all taking our time to come also too. So if there's nothing else, we will be adjourned. Thank you all. God bless you at home.